So you know what's funny? In this whole talk about the PlayStation 5 Pro and how, for the most part, PC players have weighed in, seeing how somewhere, somehow, Mark Cerny did not tell you that it was going to be equivalent to a 4070, but some of the PC community are laughing, seeing when some PlayStation talking heads are claiming that the 4070 is what these folk are saying. Now, I have not even said that it's not a 4070. I've only said that if it was a 4070 equivalent, I'd be happy to buy it because I know that in a PC world, a 4070 in an APU device of such is about $1,700 for a gaming laptop. So if PlayStation will sell that to me for $750, I'll be happy to take it off their hands. However, there are some console players who like to add ad hominems into their arguments. And one thing I love to do is I love to point it out and see how, for the most part, it's not a sound way to argue. Carbon M2. I've seen a second comment from you. One was a reply to another comment, and this one is your own comment. You said PlayStation 5 Pro has fake PC gamers shook because it outdoes their PC and does it for less. And it's only getting started. So I think what you're alluding to, and I know exactly what you're alluding to because, it's one thing for you to be making videos. Another thing, you must pay attention. You're alluding to the Steam hardware data, where a lot of PC gamers use specific hardware category based on the people who submitted their own device data into the survey. Now, that's what you're pretty much alluding to. We all know exactly what it is. And so in that regard, I wanted to go ahead and, pretty much point out a few things. The Steam hardware survey is not only important for the information that it brings to this whole console conversation. Actually, its primary goal is actually for developers. That data is not for you. It's not for PlayStation fanboys to come out here and feel like, they have some kind of, arguments to put into the discussion. It's a developer-based data set to tell developers this is the hardware that most gamers are using. If you're making your game, please ensure that these games will at least follow and play in these particular hardware ranges. Simply because if they make their game and it's beyond those hardware ranges, it's going to go the way of Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 was one game that actually did see that particular kind of, thing. So now let me teach you a little bit of data analysis from the developer side. So here is the Steam survey, right? It's telling you that your video card, your RAM, and all of the others are around these ranges. If you look at the GPU, which this 4070 is supposed to be the contention, right? The 3060 is 5.7% of the people who submitted the survey. The 1060 and 1660s are 2%. 4070 is 2%. But you'll notice that the 2060, 2060 Ci, 1650 are around the 3%. The 1050 Ti and the 1060 are 2.75%. So a sweet spot, if you have 6 gigs of VRAM, you want to make sure you adapt to about 1060. That way you can accommodate everybody else in this category. It makes sense. I'm a wannabe game developer. I got a team of folk. We're working on a small video game project. We already are looking at this data. We already are targeting specific hardware. I'm not saying this just from what I'm thinking. I'm saying this from what exactly we're going to do. If our game is not going to meet this hardware target, we are going to scrap and press and do whatever we can and even find anybody that can get the job done in terms of optimization to hit that 1060 goal. Do you know why? Because if you go and look through all PlayStation's games, the minimum requirements is actually asking for like a GTX 1060. This is God of War Ragnarok. This is Ghost of Tsushima. Where's there? There it is. This one's asking for a 960, which is actually less powerful. The one that gives you a little challenge here is Horizon Forbidden West, which is asking for a little bit of a beefy one, which is 1650, which I just showed you now, didn't I? Ratchet and Clank is even going all the way down lower than the 1060 and is asking for a 960. I could keep showing you this stuff. This is how the data is actually seen. Now, here comes the part that I wanted to basically tell you that you probably don't know. Do you know that a lot of gamers don't even bother with the hardware survey? It's just an opt-in. Steam has already the capability for you to say yes, and they pull the data straight from your computer. But some players don't bother opting in. And the data is also going to somewhat be skewed. So that's why I say the data is actually much more geared towards developers because it's more useful that they're able to see the minimum viable hardware that has the most number of gamers who have actually accounted to own those hardware pieces. Because if it's about jealousy, I think you're still also kind of wrong, because PC gamers have more to be jealous of than a PS5, because there's, graphics cards and CPUs like the, 4070 Ti. If the 4070 is what you're hung up about, the 4080, the 4080 Super, the 4090, and the 50 series coming soon. There are people who have already saved their money for that. Enthusiasts. Those are the folk who don't care how much it costs. They're going to spend it. If it's $3,000, they'll buy it. I saw people buy the 3090 for $2,500. So there are people who have that money to spend. They're also, in a sense, envious, if they're envious anyways, about CPUs like the 7800X 3D and even much more powerful devices. So for them to be jealous of the PS5 is insulting them for having very low expectations, actually, because, you think that this PS5 Pro is some high expectation hardware, and then you try to insult the PC gamer who already has knowledge of high range hardware, of being jealous or being shook, according to you. Now, here's the crazy thing. I don't fill this survey out in the most complete form, simply because I know that any result I give is going to skew the data. So let me show you my own build. Do you want to see my build? Because I'm sure, this whole talk is all about the flex, because that's exactly how it is. It seems like people just want to, flexing is some kind of a, new thing. I was going to show you my build, but nah, there's no need. Because again, at the end of the day, it's not really something I use for gaming. This is why I'm not filling out the survey, because that will skew the data in some way or the other. But even if gamers don't have PCs that are close to the PS5 Pro, they don't care, because the developers of PlayStation Studios will make games that will suit their hardware. The reason you're hearing from PC gamers that are talking about this is not because they are shook, it's because they're trying to make sure that your expectations are realistic and you don't go believe a lie. And if you choose to believe it, it's your prerogative. But there are people who would like to know. Some people are looking at the PS5 Pro, and these are PlayStation players. They're commenting here. They're like, why should I pay this much for, this console without a disk drive? Because I have a lot of discs. I've gathered a lot of discs. Okay, I'm paying $700 for this, but I got to go pay $80 for a disk drive. What is my, gain in terms of performance? Because if I have the base PS5, I've never had to get a disk drive, nor do I need to get a disk drive. So what's in this PS5 Pro that's actually going to capture me to spend an extra, in quote, $200? I've seen a lot of people say, well, I've traded mine in. All I got to do is spend an extra $200. You're trading a base PS5 in with a disk drive. Keep that in mind. And so that's what it is that they're trying to ensure that people are, in a sense, aware of. It's not necessarily that we're jealous. Why would I be jealous? Why would I be jealous of a console? Why would any sane PC player who most likely left the console platform be jealous of the console? Why would I be jealous of paying for PlayStation Plus? Why would I be jealous for paying for any subscription service? Why would I be jealous of paying more for games when I want to play them, and those games basically are more expensive on average? Why would I be jealous that I'm locked into an ecosystem where I cannot upgrade my hardware to meet any requirement that I want to play the game at? There are many things that basically will slap that jealousy if it ever crossed your mind. And I think it's very important that a lot of folk in the console space at least know about what these PC gamers think at the end of the day. You can't judge the whole PC community based on content creators. If you're maybe pointing at me and saying that, then that's fine, but you'll be wrong anyways. And I'm sure you'd be wrong, because in the video where you said that, I did show you the 4090 gameplay for Gotham Knights. So I didn't borrow it from anywhere, came from production that I do here on the Video Game Fight School channel. So you are probably pointing at, PC gamers who are just on their own chilling based on what content creators are saying. Now, some PC gamers are chiming in, but they're chiming in also from the fact that not only are these content creators on PC saying anything, they're providing data and they're providing hard facts to show that what you're actually expecting may not be what PlayStation is actually, claiming it to be. PlayStation is not the one that's saying 4070. It's y'all that are saying 4070 and all that. They never said any equivalence to anything. They just said 45 up to 45% more. And somehow everybody said, Digital Foundry said 4070. Oh, it's going to be more powerful. It's more powerful than their PC. That PS5 Pro in 1080 raster, somebody that has a really beautiful CPU and a real decent mid-range GPU that you might look down on would probably fry that console at 1080p. High refresh rate gaming. Some console players don't even have any concept of what that is. Guys that buy like these 320 hertz 1080 monitors because they just want FPS. Oh, that's a whole different conversation. We're not even going to go in there. But let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys so much. Peace out.